Today we're taking a look at the brand new 2025 LiftX 33 by Mathews Archery. Welcome back to Mike's Archery, and we're going to take a look at the 2025 lineup from Mathews Archery, and we have got the brand new LiftX 33. Obviously very similar to the Lift platform from last year, all the same features, but we'll get into more of that later in the video. So let's go ahead and run down the specs on the new LiftX. Now the 33 is coming in with a speed rating at 343 feet per second, and that is at 80% let off. Now obviously the axle to axle is still 33 inches, giving it an overall cam to cam length of 39 inches. Brace height at a nice 6.5 inches, and then an advertised weight at 4.26 pounds. We threw it on the scale and we got it 4.6 pounds out of the box. Pulling the dampeners and things, it didn't really change. We checked it on a few different scales from our last chance to our spike, but at the end of the day, it's holding the weight there at 4.6. Now the draw length option on the 33, obviously this is your slightly big man bow. It's got a little more draw length option in this 33 on the bottom, still going from 26 out to 31.5. That didn't change from the standard Lift. And of course, those SwitchWeight-X mods are available to go from 55 pounds out to 80 pounds. That didn't change either. Available in 80 or 85% let off. We try to keep all those mods in stock on the website. So if you're looking for changing your weight or changing your draw length, or you've picked up a used Lift for some reason or one of the new LiftXs, then jump on the website, grab you some mods so you can outfit that bow. Now, as we're looking at all the draw length specs on that 33, we do want to mention the XD. That is a new bow for this year, and the XD is going to be the 33 with a longer draw option. Now, if you're that guy that needs 32 plus, then you're going to have to step up to the new XD Lift. All that's going to do is change the cam size, as you can see here, a much larger cam on that. It's going to give you another 1.5 inches of draw length, making it go out to 33.5. It's going to pick up where the 33 left off at 31.5. You're going to be able to put this bow at 32, and then 33 and 33.5. So you've got a little bit of adjustment of 1.5 inches to get it out to that longer draw length. If you're that 6'6", 6'7" guy plus, this is going to be the bow for you. The Atlas had been in the lineup for a lot of years, and it was time for a revamp to get you big guys a new bow with all the integrated technologies. Now, as we continue with the features, obviously from the Lift to the LiftX, not a huge amount of changes. You've still got all of your standard features. You still got your integrated rest, bridge lock sight system, bridge lock stabilizer, your low pro quivers. All that stayed the same. So you've got all your standard features as well as all your integrated features that were available on the Lift, because obviously the riser really didn't change much. Now from there are a few new upgrades and changes in the features for the LiftX. Number one, the Arc 7 limbs. Obviously, everybody was aware of the limb issues that Mathews had last year. I think it was slightly blown out of proportion. It was something that they recognized, realized it was a materials issue, got it fixed quickly. Of course, extended lifetime limbs onto those bows for every owner. So they obviously took care of that issue. Haven't seen any issues in quite a while on any of those bows. What you have for this year is the new Arc 7 limb. Looks the same. You really can't tell any cosmetical difference. It's not any longer, shorter, or anything like that. I think it's just a slightly new material. It also incorporates the new limb shift technology and allows those new brackets to mount in there and function for this new tuning system. So with that said, the limb shift is that new tuning system. What you're going to see there is an axle that is threaded inside. Now, you still have to pull axles to change strings and cables, but what we're seeing with this new system is you take the one threaded screw off the side. Underneath that is a threaded axle that is actually threaded into the right side limb. The cam is going to be slaved to that left limb, never moves. You don't have any top hats to change out, but what you do have is a threaded axle inside there that threads directly on that limb and allows that limb to shift left and right. That's how you're going to get your paper tears depending on what you're getting. Right, left tears, you're going to move that limb, slide it back and forth on that axle, changing the pitch with that, and allowing it to get a perfect paper tear. It's really ingenious. It looks really cool. It's a tapered axle inside there as we pulled it out and kind of looked at it just to be able to see how we're going to work on them. and it really functions well, and I think it's going to make a nice tuning feature from Mathews to allow you to be able to change your paper tear on the line and get this bow tuned and shooting perfectly. Now, the other big change for Mathews for this year is the Bond grip system. Now, the Bond grip is a change from the original Engage. It still comes with an Engage grip on it from the factory, but it is a new Engage grip. It's going to look very similar to the previous Engage, but it's two-tone, has a little grip to the back of it, shaped slightly differently, but overall still an Engage grip, just a harder plastic. Now, it's going to come with a color match depending on whatever you purchased your bow in. If it's an earth, it'll have obviously the tan grip and so on and so forth. But the big change is the other two grips that are available. You're going to be able to get what's called the contour or the tapered grip. And we'll probably do another video looking specifically at those grips going forward. But if you've got an older bow, you can now change out everything, I think, back to a Vertex. Anything that had the switch weight modules on it or an Engage grip on it, pretty much, you're going to be able to retrofit with any of these new grips. So, it's no secret, the Engage grip was never really our favorite grip on the market. It may do, but these new contour and taper grips feel really nice in your hand. We're really impressed with what Mathews has brought to the table with a new grip system. So if you are looking for a new grip, or even you get one of these new bows, all of them are going to come with an Engage on it. But if you want to change them out, we'll have those available on the website as well. Now, as we're looking at the grip, the only other slight change is they did mill out underneath the grip on the outside edge where your thumb would normally rub. There was a little bit of a rubbing issue there, especially with these new cut grips. So they have milled it out. If you look on a new LiftX, you'll see the slight milling out underneath the riser. That's really the only major difference in the new risers from the original lift. But it gives a more comfortable feel, and it's going to eliminate that rub that was on your hand, especially if you like to choke up into that throat as you're shooting a little more. Now, as we look at the color palette for this year, for 2025, they have changed a few things. Now, on the solid side, you still got your black and ambush and earth, but they've added a new color in the shale, which is a nice dark gray color. And of course, you've got your fade to black options available in ambush, earth, and the new shale. Now, when we look at the camo side of things, they changed up the camos a little bit, eliminating a few of the old colors, but you're still able to get these bows in a mossy oak bottomlands, the subalpine, as well as a First Light Spectre. And then their new color for this year is the QU Verde. Frankly, it looks great on their bow, even though it is an older camo pattern. QU Verde has been around and makes a great looking bow. Now, as we look at the price point on the new Mathews 33 LiftX, it did take a slight price increase for 2025, and we're looking at these bows at $1369. It's not quite the major price increase that we have seen from some of the other manufacturers, but it did go up slightly for this year. Now, from here, we're going to step back to the lane, and we're going to shoot the 33 over the chronograph, give you a breakdown of all the speeds. We really don't expect to see anything different out of the LiftX than what we did out of the Lift from last year, but we'll give you those new numbers as well as a decibel rating. As usual, we'll be shooting this at 29-inch draw length, 85% let off, and 70 pounds. All right, so we have stepped back here to the lane, and we have got the 33 LiftX. We're going to put this thing through its paces just to see what kind of numbers it's putting up. We don't really expect to see speed differences from the original Lift to this bow, but we wanted to give you the number breakdown regardless. So let's shoot this thing and see what we get. All right, with the 33 starting at 350 grains, we have got 320 feet per second. And with a 400 grain arrow, we've got 304. And then as we drop down to a 450 grain arrow, we've got 288. And then a 500 grain arrow, we've got 272 feet per second. Overall, putting up some really nice numbers. Again, I didn't go back and check last year's video, but we expect it to be very similar to what we saw out of the original Lift. Now, as we look at the decibel readings on this new bow, we've got it coming in at 87.8. Again, a nice quiet bow, exactly what we expect out of Mathews, a quiet and dead in the hand bow. As we talk about the draw cycle, the Lift from last year, this is going to feel extremely similar to it. There's no real change there as far as the draw cycle in the back wall. Stacks up a little bit, not terrible. Drops off into a fairly shallow valley on the Lift, as well as the LiftX. That's pretty much the same. When you're holding it, if you like a deep valley where you can relax a little bit, the Lift may not be for you because it's got It wants to go. It's got a shallow valley in it. Rock hard back wall if you like that, but shallow valley. The shot afterwards, exactly what you're going to always expect out of Mathews, as dead as anything out there, if not the deadest. When we talk about the grip, again, we mentioned it up front when we were looking at the new features, and these new grips are great. We like what we're seeing out of the contour as well as the taper. Of course, everybody's hand's a little bit different. Get a fit for it, get a feel for it. You know, if you're at a shop or if you're here at our shop, you know, ask us to trade out those grips so you can really get a feel for what you're thinking on this bow. But the original engages are a little bit different here. They're going to come from the factory with that two-tone, a little rubbery textured here in the middle, color match to the bow. And then, like I said, if you're looking for something different, most certainly look at that contour and taper grip, because we're really impressed with how good it makes these Mathews feel and how well it sits in your hand, does away with a lot of that torquiness that we have seen in the past from an Engage grip. From there, overall, with the new limb shift technology, it's going to make a really nice bow that's easy to tune. If you're the guy that likes to tinker and tune at home, play with different arrows, then certainly upgrade to this bow, because you can obviously paper tune and work on this bow a little bit easier at your house rather than bringing it in here to the shop. Now, if you're the guy that doesn't do that, it just makes my life easier here in the shop when you come in to get a setup, and we certainly don't hate that. So overall, I think the new changes for the new LiftX are absolutely wonderful, and you should definitely come into the shop, take a look at these things, shoot the new bows, get a feel for the new grips, and allow us to get this thing tuned in perfectly for you. So if there's any of the accessories that you want from Mathews, be sure and jump on the website, because we keep a full line and a full stock of every accessory out there that Mathews makes.